Anyone who supposes that the change which we have mentioned is only of the name, wait for some time and you would realize it's not just a change of name. In fact, some of you might be saying कि ऐसा ही तो होता है, हम स्कूल में क्या पढ़ते हैं, हम सोशल साइंस मैथ्स और यही तो पढ़ते हैं. नो, ऐसा नहीं है. If you're thinking that, in some minutes you would get clarified. जैसे कोर्सेज जिनका वोकेशनल ओरिएंटेशन होता है, ये बहुत ज़्यादा मल्टीप्लाई हुए हैं हमारी सोसाइटी में, ऑलमोस्ट एज रैपिडली एज द हाईली स्पेशलाइज्ड इंस्ट्रक्शन एंड कॉमन डिसिप्लिन्स. कोर्सेज विद नैरो वोकेशनल ऑब्जेक्टिव्स जैसे लाइब्रेरी साइंस, म्यूज़िक, टेक्नोलॉजी, अकाउंटिंग, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट सब्जेक्ट्स है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है उसमें. वी नीड अकाउंटेंट्स, वी नीड टेक्नोलॉजी एक्सपर्ट्स, वी नीड म्यूजिशियंस. ये सारी चीज़ें इनकी अपनी इम्पॉर्टेंट जगह हैं एंड दे नीड टू बी प्रॉपरली टॉट एंड दैट्स व्हाई दे आर देयर. बट they can still never be equivalent to mathematics, history, philosophy as core subjects. They cannot be. By achieving an equivalent status with subjects like these, they have given a vocational complexion to the programs of many liberal arts students. Students have thus been prevented from gaining the broad outlook of life. एक intellectual taste जो जिंदगी का बनना चाहिए, वो rarest of rare है कि वो एक accounting के student में बनेगा who is very early in his life getting into accounting. Very difficult that he would develop a taste for, say, opera. Very difficult. जिंदगी की हकीकतों से बहुत दूर हो जाता है एक टेक्नोलॉजी का स्टूडेंट, बहुत दूर हो जाता है क्योंकि बहुत अर्ली छोड़ चुका होता है जिंदगी. It's only fair to add that the older disciplines have also often been taught with a similar vocation. Maths, philosophy, history, ये भी वैसे ही पढ़ाए जाते हैं. Take for example, अब छठी स्टैंडर्ड का बच्चा कोडिंग करेगा. Coding would be taken up from standard 6. Why do we want to do that? Because we need coding experts in our society. Because this is the future of human civilization. Now, the truth is, everyone would not end up as a computer engineer. All this specialized knowledge from 6 to whatever standard he learned is wasted. I know you might argue that students have a choice, but we all live in this system. The system is designed as such that there never really is a choice. The kid that doesn't take coding, he is child of a lesser god. We know it, our society works like that. It's never really a choice. It was never really a choice when you chose arts and science and non-medical or medical, whatever. It was never really a choice. We know the kind of society we live in. गुप्ता जी के बेटे ने अगर कोडिंग ली है तो आपके बेटे को भी लेनी है, हो ही नहीं सकता. There is no choice. अगर चचेरे भाई ने ली है आपको तो लेनी है. There is no other choice. It can further be argued कि multidisciplinary courses, they are mushrooming. In fact, कि अब आप say for example you go into a 4-year bachelor's degree, you can take engineering का एक subject, medicine का एक subject, economics के बाकी सारे subjects and you would have a multidisciplinary course. See, बहुत सारी जगहों पे होता भी है वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड में. हिंदुस्तान में भी कुछ लिमिटेड लेवल पे हो रहा है. इसके अपने प्रोज हैं विदाउट एनी डाउट. And it is still better than specialization, which we have been criticizing all day. Yet it has its associated issues. As of now, अनरिस्ट्रिक्टेड electives do not exist in India, they do somewhere. इसको वेस्ट में बहुत देर से ट्राई किया गया है. स्टूडेंट्स को परमिट किया गया है कि आप अपने क्यूरियोसिटी को सेटिस्फाई करें, सेटिस्फाई इन इन्वर्टेड कॉमर्स, कि वो डिफरेंट कोर्सेज डिफरेंट मेजर एरियाज ऑफ नॉलेज से चूज़ करें. वो सोशोलॉजी से कुछ कोर्सेज लें, हिस्ट्री से कुछ कोर्सेज लें, एंथ्रोपोलॉजी से कुछ कोर्सेज लें, पॉलिटिकल साइंस, इकोनॉमिक्स, व्हाटएवर, जो भी उनको लगे कि these are similar, they are satisfying my intellectual curiosity, I need them for my future studies, yeah, whatever. The credit for the bachelor's degree has commonly been assembled from a wide range of departments and varying level of difficulties according to the student's abilities, his vocational objectives, his the grading practices of the university, whatever. कितनी classes की, अपने दोस्त के फ्रेंड्स क्या, ये अपने दोस्तों के सब्जेक्ट्स क्या हैं, मम्मा ने क्या रिकमेंड किया था. सो दिस इज हाउ यू चूज दीज सब्जेक्ट्स. इवन विद इन अ सिंगल इंस्टीट्यूशन, दिस प्रैक्टिस हैज प्रोड्यूस्ड इनफाइनाइट वैरायटी ऑफ कोर्सेज बिकॉज यू गेट योर परम्यूटेशंस एंड कॉम्बिनेशंस. व्हाट इज द रिजल्ट ऑफ ऑल दिस? What is the result? That college students often pursue courses of study which exhibit either a high degree of concentration in one or two subjects, or there is a meaningless medley, meaningless collection of miscellaneous courses which make no sense taken together. जो करने निकले थे वही नहीं हुआ. फिर से करने निकले थे कि डाइवर्सिफाई हो जाएगा, yet we find सेम कुछ कोर्सेज जो सारे बच्चे लेते हैं, और जो बच्चे सभी कोर्सेज नहीं लेते वो ऐसे कोर्सेज लेते हैं जिनमें कोई भी कॉमन थ्रेड नहीं होता. और इस वजह से देयर थिंकिंग एंड देयर लाइव्स दे रिफ्लेक्ट दिस इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रोविंसेस, डिसऑर्गेनाइजेशन. एंड हाउ डू वी नो इट? फ्रेगमेंटेशन ऑफ सोसाइटी, a reflection of how our universities are fragmented. Communication और united action किसी भी प्रॉब्लम पे ऐसी सिचुएशन में इम्पॉसिबल हो जाता है. आप कोई सोल्यूशन प्रेजेंट करेंगे, आएगा एंथ्रोपोलॉजिस्ट, ना 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 गलत है. आपने पूरा 4 साल स्टडी किया एक प्रॉब्लम और आप उसका सोल्यूशन दोगे, तो बच्चों को ऐसे पढ़ाओ, आएगा साइकोलॉजिस्ट, ना 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 गलत है. आप एक सोल्यूशन दे रहे हो, 4 साल आपने उस पर वर्क किया, आएगा मौलवी साहब, ना 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 गलत है. What's the problem? This provincialism in education, that none of us, like no two people talk the same, no two people. And then you wonder, why is our society so fragmented? Why can't we agree on anything? अगर ये कंडीशन है जो हमारा अभी का एजुकेशन सिस्टम है, ये अपनी लेजिटिमेसी कहाँ से डिराइव करता है? क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोग होंगे जो इसको भी डिफेंड करेंगे, बहुत सारे लोग. It derives its legitimacy from two philosophies, one of materialism, one of utilitarianism. Not to say that these are bad philosophies or wrong, we are not doing that. We're just trying to understand its roots. जो fundamental idea हमारे हल्क से नीचे रोज it is shoved down our throat, वही है जो हिमेश रेशमिया ने उस शो में कहा था, मुझे इसके घर में रोटी चाहिए, रफ़ी बाद में बनाएंगे सबको, हमें रफ़ी नहीं मिलते हैं, लेकिन कम से कम हमें इनके घर में रोटी चाहिए. एंड यू मस्ट हैव हर्ड इट कि ये बड़े बड़े आइडियल नहीं चलते, रोटी पहले सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है, बाद में देख लेंगे. नाउ दिस इज ए वेरी नोबल आइडिया, बिकॉज रोटी एट द एंड and at the end of the day it does matter the most. There can be no doubt on this. In fact, Abraham Maslow अपनी hierarchy of needs में the first is physiological need. Everything else, safety, love, esteem, self-actualization, ये बाद में आते हैं. लेकिन ध्यान दे, जब ये स्टेटमेंट बोला जाता है, स्पीकर के माइंड में होता क्या है एक्चुअली? Is it roti? No. It is materialist pleasure under the noble name of roti that is being peddled. Those who actually do not have roti or cannot even have a roti, it makes no sense कि हम उसको यहाँ 1 घंटे बिठा कर लिबरल एजुकेशन का पार्ट पढ़ाएं. it makes no sense to talk about big ideas of any education. But is it roti we are actually talking about at that moment? लेकिन जब मार्केट में बात हो रही होती है रोटी की, the assumption is as if the person does not have anything to eat. Such an educational system, this fosters craving for early gratification, earning loads of money under the name of roti, getting suited up in an Iron Man suit. The only difference, this suit is made up of skills that the industry seeks, with little or no consciousness on the student's part of what their meaning is, what their significance in their everyday life is. They might be successful entrepreneurs, but they become bad parents. They might be successful scientists, but they are bad husbands. They might be great tennis players, but bad friends. And you are a tennis player on the ground. Most of the time, you are a father, a brother, a citizen of the nation. A matter so important, that of having the students see the relationship between instruction and life, we cannot leave it to chance. We cannot. It's just as a mathematician is in his classroom. It's just as a human being is what we are daily interacting with. And for Irtizar to figure out the relationship between the instructions and his life, we cannot leave it to chance. This objective must guide the day-by-day activities of any teacher, any student, any curriculum, any society. Courses for those who do not intend to make the study of the subject their occupation must be organized around life. जिंदगी सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है. इनफैक्ट फ्यूचर स्कॉलर भी बनना है, उसके लिए भी ये इंस्ट्रक्शन बहुत ज़रूरी है. Education is to deal with real life relevant issues. It has to deal with current concrete experiences, the social realities of our times, the economic questions of our era, the ethical dilemmas of our society. Our education has to prepare our students to walk in the street. When he is peddled by a million different ideologies, he should know what he is up against. Even if we have to teach them higher, more complex philosophical and theoretical discussions, as an introduction to such things, we have to start with conflicts students encounter in daily lives. Take a class tomorrow in your school on why doesn't government print more money? And there you would have your students. The tension in families, parents not talking to each other well, not talking to you well, tension with the relationships, अपने syllabus में include करो. And you would see students turning up. हार्वर्ड यूनिवर्सिटी की रिपोर्ट, उसका नाम जनरल एजुकेशन इन ए फ्री सोसाइटी है. इट्स अ वंडरफुल रीड, मौका मिले तो इसको पढ़ें. 4 ऑब्जेक्टिव बताते हैं वो एजुकेशन है, और चारों जो ऑब्जेक्टिव है दे आर डायरेक्टली रिलेटेड टू ह्यूमन बिहेवियर. द एबिलिटी टू थिंक, द एबिलिटी टू कम्युनिकेट, the ability to make valid judgments, and the ability to evaluate moral situations. हर एक एजुकेशन ये 4 चीज़ें करना ही चाहिए. Note it in your mind. Ability to think, ability to communicate, ability to make valid judgments, ability to evaluate moral situations. जो choices of learning है इस्लामिक पर्सपेक्टिव से, and which holds true for others as well, हम उसको आगे की सीरीज में डिस्कस करेंगे. बट फॉर नाउ, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ करिकुलम वुड गिव आवर स्टूडेंट्स दिस? द क्वेश्चन वी आर ट्राइंग टू फाइंड एन आंसर टू. अगर हमारे करिकुलम, हमारी टीचिंग प्रैक्टिस, हमारे स्कूल को से जो निकले उस बच्चे में ये 4 चीज़ें होनी चाहिए. एबिलिटी टू थिंक, टू कम्युनिकेट, टू मेक वैलिड जजमेंट्स, टू इवैल्यूएट मॉरल सिचुएशंस. What do you think is the curriculum that needs to be designed? I will have to admit I have no good answers. क्योंकि मेरे अंदर भी ये thought बहुत rudimentary है, and it of course requires a more in-depth and a detailed study. However, if we are lost in the details, we would ignore the bigger elephant in the room. We can still have a broader outline which we can agree on. जिस बच्चे ने ये 4 चीज़ें हासिल कर ली उसके अंदर क्या होगा? What can we say about him? What has he mastered? The first thing he would have mastered is the art of words. Only then he can communicate, right? Only then he can think. So if we have to make our student master or learn the art of words, what should be part of his curriculum? Any study would then necessarily have to begin with language as its basis. This is knowledge of language. A thorough hold on grammar, a thorough hold on vocabulary. From here he can develop, because only if he has this, then this can lead to the knowledge of logic, which is the grammar of thought. This gives him the ability to think. The second thing we want our students to have, the ability to think. Once our student has both of these, the synthesis of two, and some addition to it of some more ingredients, then he would have the knowledge of rhetoric. This would give him the art of persuasive speaking and writing. He has thus received his categories, his tools of making judgment. Now he has it. Now our student has the ability to think because he knows logic. He has the ability to communicate because he knows grammar and he knows rhetoric. But can he make valid judgments? Can he make moral judgments? Can he? He cannot yet, because categories without percepts are empty. But even then, an empty category is better than a blind percept. तो हमारे बच्चे को he needs to study first in a healthy body. और एक healthy body क्या होती है? It has 3 elements: physical body, spiritual body and social body. Physical body के साथ deal करेगा medicine और activity. That would give him a physical, healthy body in which he will study. Spiritual body, इसके साथ religion deal करेगा. This would give him a healthy spiritual body. And then a social body. This can be dealt with by law, polity and justice. Once he has a healthy body, he is fit for further study. Such has to be the state where the art of words is learned. Art of words cannot be learned if the child does not have a healthy physical body, if the child does not have a healthy spiritual body, if the child does not have a healthy social body. The parents are fighting day long. Society is fighting day long. There's violence. एक healthy body चाहिए. अब एक क्वेश्चन बचा हमारे पास. हेल्दी बॉडी भी है, थिंकिंग भी आती है, कम्युनिकेशन भी आता है. बट व्हाट टू कम्युनिकेट? Concepts are empty without percepts. We need them to make right judgments. But what to make judgment upon? There has to be something that needs to be supplied to the mind. Now our child ventures into the art of valid judgments. Judgments about matters of fact. And matters of fact would start with a study of art of numbers, art of quantity in abstract form. That's arithmetic, geometry, science. And art of matters of fact in real form. That is the study of social sciences. Our kid now has the ability to think, to communicate, to make valid judgments. But he cannot be said that he can evaluate moral situations yet. अभी वो ये नहीं कर सकता. क्यों नहीं कर सकता? क्योंकि अभी हमने उसको मशीन बनाया है बस. He is a machine, not human. He is a man, not a Kashmiri yet. Thus, all education has to be accompanied by the teaching of the art itself, the art of aesthetics, the art of culture. If he is learning in a university in Srinagar, he has to know what it means to be a Kashmiri. A moral situation can only be evaluated only in the broader edifice of culture, because culture is the determinant of morals. If he does not have an idea of his culture, if he does not have an idea of his tradition, he can never make moral judgments. He has to be taught not as a mere kid. हम उसको बच्चे की तरह नहीं देख सकते. He has to be looked at upon as a cultural kid, a Kashmiri kid. He is to be taught as a Kashmiri in a Kashmiri classroom. All education of words, art of aesthetics, art of matters of fact, all of these studies have to be in line with what it means to be a Kashmiri. For others, it would Tani, Americi, Francisi. For us, the education has to be what it means to be a Kashmiri. And what does it mean to be a Kashmiri? Can any of us answer it? Most of us would not be. Why? Because we don't know. And how then can we make moral judgment in what's happening in our society? We don't know what's our society, what it means to be Kashmiri. Adab, etiquette. Etiquette has to be core of all teaching. The very thing that makes us what we are. What is a Kashmiri if it's not an etiquette person? एक बाअदब इंसान अगर नहीं है तो कश्मीरी नहीं हो सकता. That's the core of our culture. The study of harmony, the study of arts would do wonders. These things would raise the aesthetic tastes of our children. What is a moral act at the end of the day? It's a beautiful act. Our children need to know what is beautiful.